Welcome to another exciting episode of the Late Night Hour, broadcasting from our secret, undisclosed, underground bunker location. The voice of freedom, and a warm welcome to you. Here on the Late Night Hour, we explore the topics not found on television.
You're listening to the Late Night Hour.
Kentucky Fried Chicken is my favorite snack, at least tonight on a beautiful Wednesday evening. Broadcasting live from our secret bunker. You know, I like the mashed potatoes and gravy and the coleslaw, and you get 4 biscuits. Who can eat 4 biscuits at once? I mean, you get 8 pieces of chicken, and it's $20. You can't beat that when a McDonald's or Burger King is like, what, $8 now? $8 hamburger. And they raise their rates to $15 per hour. Pension plan, 401k. All the important things that are needed for the employee. And it all sounds good if you can afford an $8 hamburger. So that's the challenge. The challenge is this price system, the free enterprise system. Will it stay afloat? Will it sink? Will it go under? I don't know. But here on the Late Night Hour, we contemplate such possibilities. We explore topics they won't discuss on television because somebody has to, and I enjoy talking about them. Now, Late Night Hour is not for everybody because what if you might actually learn something on this show? That would be like, unreal. Mainstream media is this brainwashed, recycled, coordinated news. And here in the Late Night Hour, I just wing it. I go in any direction, anytime. And I'd like to welcome you. This is a participatory radio show, which means you can join us in the chat room, or if you dare, you can give me a call at 515-602-9663. Again, that's 515-602-9663. Now, I may not answer your calls because sometimes I'm just ranting against the machine. I am striking the sound of liberty and freedom. We can before the crackdown, before everybody is labeled a fake news broadcaster. Well, I guess that is the plan, to kill freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of opinion. And they do this by getting rid of pen and paper. They want us to do everything online, on a tablet, on a smartphone. Get rid of pencil and paper, because a pamphlet like Common Sense, remember that little book? Common Sense, a little pamphlet, it causes the revolution. And they don't want any new ideas out there that might catch on. Like, for example, this radio show, you might enjoy it, may be different for you, and you might come back. You might follow us. I took 2 or 3 years off of broadcasting because it was just too stressful. So now I'm kicked back, enjoy a little tea, and I do look at the news, and I'm not going anywhere. I mean, this is all I do, rant against the news. Just a minute, I'll grab a little tea here or your beverage of choice, because it is the late night hour. You can drink anything you want. And so, here we go. I mean, I don't know what subject to talk about first. There's so many that are disgusting, sickening. I mean, this young woman jogger in Iowa that was killed by the illegal immigrant. I mean, the story just repeats and repeats. It just keeps going. There's no end to this mindless, borderless system that they keep trying to shove down our throats. I mean, really, anybody who's an American, whether you're on the left or the right, not that there's a difference. I'll explain that later, because you might be younger, you don't really know what's going on. And so this is the show for you. You might learn something here on the late night hour. I mean, we do try to share what we know. And yes, it's all theory. I mean, there's no conspiracy theory. There's just theories. Because if they gave us all their documents and redacted reports and, you know, all the paper, we probably could prove it. But really, it's all theories, and you're entitled to your theories. You're entitled to your ideas and opinion. That's what freedom's about. And they don't like it. They want to stop you. They don't want you thinking for yourself. Oh, let me go back to the pen and paper. That was from George Orwell, 1984. It was illegal to have pen and paper, to have independent thought that could not be monitored, altered, controlled by Big Brother, Big Sister, Big whatever. It's all boils down to the power of the state versus the power of the little person. That's you and I. We are the cannon fodder, the sheeple, where's my sheep sound? Jeez. Well, 2 or 3 years off the air, and now I'm back. I'm back to cause trouble, and they probably don't want my show on the air, but we'll do the show 7 days a week. Sometime around 10, you know, sometimes I'm late, sometimes I'm early, normally late. It's just, you know, I might get a better offer. Somebody might want to socialize with me. I might go out and enjoy myself for once, you know, and turn the news off and kick back, take it easy. So I don't always want to come in here and talk politics and current events and secrets and predictions and theories and all of the fantastic complexities of life that you probably need to learn about and understand. And we're going to go through everything. I will talk about any and all subjects. I am your resource. Consider it your free high school textbook. But there are a few things I guess we need to cover. Chat room is not working, but I hope you do follow me right here. This is where I do my core recording, and then we send it out to all the other distribution channels. So this is where it's going to really happen at Blog Talk Radio. I think I was one of their first and earliest broadcasters. And then things got stressful. So took a few years off, and now back. Better batteries are recharged. Learned a few more things. Look, the $20 bucket of chicken. It's a beautiful bargain. I mean, I don't even know how they do that. Now, it's possible with GMO and food additives. It's not real food. It's like plastic coated. Maybe it's got, different chemicals in it. But for one night, $20, 8 pieces of chicken. Say you eat 6 of them, maybe 7. You got one for tomorrow's lunch, so you're in good shape. And I got to get some more tea, so I'll be right back here on the late night hour. I'm just getting warmed up. Soon I will jump into the disgusting news stories.
Into a midnight haze. She will follow you. She will follow you. She will follow you. She will follow along you.
You're listening to The Late Night Hour with Alex Abrams.
Okay, well, we're making progress. Night 1 after 2 years off the airwaves. I'm back, ready to cause trouble, ready to enlighten you, help you out. You're probably really confused. That's okay. You might be a young person. You've got these great ideas. You think you know how the world works. You're invincible. Is that a song, Invincible? Not sure. Speaking of songs, the music featured here on the Late Night Hours now called, the song is called Princess Diana Returns, and the group is called Blondia. And you can buy their song and support the return of Princess Diana at thelatenighthour.com. But we're just getting up and running, so give us a few days to get everything hooked up. Make sure you go there and join our followers on Black Talk Radio, or just join the mailing list. We don't share your information with any of the powers that be. We keep it for ourselves. And that's refreshing this day and age, the day and age of technology and Google, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. They're all the same. They're all fronts for the military-industrial complex. We should change that to military-industrial media complex, but that's okay. A technicality. Over in China, I guess they have heaven up in the sky, and they've had a few visions up in the clouds and these cities and, appearing. And it's funny because it happens during the crackdown of Christians in China who are being imprisoned or worse. I mean, China is a very hardcore nation, and we'd have to do a whole late night on China. So, because there's different theories about China. Some people think China is our enemy, and some people think we own China. Is that news to you? There's a good theory that we own China. So all this bowing to the Chinese emperor is an illusion. It's something for you to enjoy. But in reality, and there's quite a bit of evidence for it, in the mid-'70s, we put a lot of investment in China. And we turned them from a communist nation over into a technocracy where the technocrats run China. And, the technocrats love spying and surveilling, DNA testing, and all that good stuff that they want to do to everybody. Right out of 1984, the technocrats. They believe that all the world's problems can be solved with technology, as long as they can enter your home, your house. I guess that's the same thing. They can enter wherever you live, okay? Whether it's a mini home or a mobile home or a van, they can enter. And, they can enter your car, by the way. And, everything that was a right or a liberty is now a privilege. A privilege granted by those that walk on the red carpet. The red carpet. You notice how the politicians all walk on the red carpet? And the celebrities, they walk on there too. So they have their own set of rules. You have to put the low wattage light bulbs in your fixtures and they get lots of lighting. You have to tear down your border wall, but they have lots of walls around their homes or mansions, and you have to give up your self-defense weapons, but they have security, armed security, tons of it. So, the elite have their own rules, and you have rules you have to follow. Okay, you're probably saying, Alex, you're ranting away. Well, that's what we do here on the Late Night Hour. And if you tune in around 10 o'clock, you're going to hear me rant about things that happen every day. So, I'm still mad about this illegal immigrant, whatever they want to call them. Okay, killing Americans. We're getting in more and more. We're getting so many. The families have now formed the Angel Group or something, and they're going to take on these politicians and their ridiculous policies, because a country with no borders is not a country anymore. And obviously that is the plan. That is the plan. They want to make the European Union and a North American Union and an Asian Union, and they'll have like 7 of these regional unions, and then they'll converge them all into one, and they'll have the New World Order and the global generic universal citizen and the generic universal religion. And not sure. Maybe everybody has to wear the same clothing and the same car. And there already is, this explosion of bicycles and the deindustrialization of America. Take you back to the Stone Age. No more Cadillacs, SUVs, Americans. You're going to have to ride the bikes. It's the right thing to do. We're going to help the environment and fossil fuels and all that good stuff. At the same time, you can see Al Gore and his limos and fleet of SUVs and private airplanes burning fuel up like there's no end. So, the less fuel that the masses use, the slaves use, the more there is for the elite masters. And that's the way the system is designed. All they have to do is convince you it's for your own good to give up everything that you've worked so hard for. Speaking of which, in the news is what do they call that? The stealing of land in South Africa, the farms, and 200 farms, they're repatriating. I don't know the big word for it, but they're stealing it. I mean, they offer a lowball offer, 10 cents on the dollar. You say no, and then they just take your land. It made me think a little bit about laws we need here in the United States. When we sell out to China and other countries, we should take that land back. When you buy land in Mexico, I believe they have a clause that the government can take that land back at any time. And so that's the clause we need. If it works in South Africa and in Mexico, I don't know why it wouldn't work in the United States. So these foreign investors can buy up everything, and we'll just take it back at the proper time. In fact, that is exactly how the end game is going to work. Because if they keep selling out this country, there's going to be a revolution that reclaims all this property. And that's the direction. That's the end horizon. So, the elite, which, they have their puppet politicians. That gets back to another subject I said I was going to explain to you. There is no left. There is no right. There is only freedom or anti-freedom. In around 1964, I'm not sure the exact year here without looking at my notes, but the book came out. Nandare called it Conspiracy. And guess what it reveals? Both parties are socialists. The Democrats are hard socialists. The Republicans are moderate socialists. They're both socialists. And that's why, regardless which major party you vote for, you're voting for socialism. And that is the drip, drip, drip system. And, this has been going on a long time with the New Deal, money for everybody. Oh, boy, that gets us into a whole nother subject, which you really need to understand a little more depth. Hey, when we return, I'll get a little more beverage here. I'll tell you about the money system in 5 sentences, and then you can do some thinking and researching for yourself. But don't forget, I'd like to hear from you. You can join us in the chat room at Blog Talk Radio, or you can give me a call if you dare. 515-602-9663. We're broadcasting live, and I'd like to hear from you. Let me understand your greatest theory or question. And we'll be right back.
You're listening to The Late Night Hour with Alex Abrams.
So this one is for all those yuppies out there. Not sure you call them yuppies anymore. It's, I don't know, the millennials, whatever, all the young people that, they have a good job. They work 40 hours a week, 80 hours every 2 weeks, right? They get their paycheck. Let's say it's a nice one. Let's say they get $10,000 every 2 weeks, living high on the hog. Sounds good. What did they really make? Oh, they're going to say, I made $10,000, Alex. $10,000. And I will tell them they are a slave. They made 14.7 cents. 14.7 cents. That's how much money the real masters paid them. They worked 80 hours. They think they got $10,000. Instead, they got 14.7 cents. The cost to print and manufacture that bill. So in the big scale of things, the people that run everything are the ones that have the privilege of providing the 14.7 cents and creating really any denomination of bill, and they all cost about the same to make, 14.7 cents, in real money, gold-backed, real money. So everybody thinks they're wealthy. That's all part of the system. I hate to burst your bubble. Well, whatever. Just you may not want to listen to the late night hour because there's a lot of information that, not sure you're going to really, enjoy the ride. Now, for some of you, we could say some people are awake. In other words, like they're not idiots, like they know what's going on. For those people, this is all old news. I mean, I'm just talking to the choir. And this might be the right show for you because I need you to help me. I probably don't understand something. I tend to follow every possible theory out there. So, if you want to ask me about whatever, global warming, solar flares, a Navy map, Denver airport, you can ask me about anything. I'll explain it to you. I'll explain the religions of the world, anything. So that's what I do. I mean, I'm just a collector of theories. And I'm not fake news because I don't know. They don't give me all the documents. They give me the documents, then I could say, this is not fake news. This is a real deal here. I mean, you had the Twin Towers on 9/11 and the plane that was hit first by the airplane, it melted last. So, I mean, I don't know, It's just a scientific miracle. The plane hit second, it collapsed first. It's almost like somebody pushed the wrong button. But, if you look at these different theories, I don't like to call them conspiracy theories because they're theories, let's be honest. And you look at JFK, JFK, you're a conspiracy theorist. Well, give me all the documents. Why don't you just release the documents? Oh, because we're protecting the intelligence agents. Well, what are they, like 98 years old, 95? How long? How long are they going to use this excuse? We're protecting our intelligence sources by not releasing the JFK files. I mean, really? So, don't call it a conspiracy theory. When you're holding the information, you won't release the documents. It's called transparency. Something the, elite and their puppet politicians just don't like. They despise transparency, true transparency. There is absolutely no reason that the JFK files remain classified. And where is the great President Trump, who is going to release the JFK files? He's just part of the swamp because both the left and the right is just light socialism and hard socialism. You take your pick. Either way, they're going to move toward socialism, which is the bridge to communism, which is the bridge to tyranny, dictatorship. So that's the way the system is designed. It's designed to move the United States deeper and deeper and deeper into socialism. Now, they don't call it socialism. They call it collectivism or some other cool name, the Hive, the global community justice, whatever they want to call it. But let's, keep it simple. Socialism, the bridge to communism. That was written by Karl Marx, by the way. Don't try to convert the capitalists into communists. You convert them to socialists first. Step one. That's the bridge to communism. And then that will give us to the world dictatorship that they desire. So don't fall for it. Okay? I mean, it's gotten so bad that they're now running, socialist candidates, Bernie, whatever his name is. I don't even pay attention to politics. You say, why don't you pay attention to politics? Well, that's your clue. If you're listening to the news or you're listening to television or radio, whatever, if they talk about the evil Democrats or the evil Republicans. Next, there's your shill. There's your propaganda machine trying to make you pick a side. It's all about picking a side. You've got to be for one party or the other. And you notice in the debates they don't let anybody else of truly independence in. It's a controlled debate. Two sides, you pick. They're both socialists. And it gives you the illusion of change, of democracy, the illusion. And, that's the way the system has been working for quite a while. This is nothing new. It's just that you're a young person and you go up through the standard education system and it, screws you all up, messes with your mind. You don't know left from right, up and down. That's the way they want to keep you in a state of confusion. They don't want you listening to the late night hour, that's for sure. So I don't know. We'll see if we can stay on the air. We'll keep broadcasting and ranting and even eating, more fast food. They put a camera on a McDonald's hamburger, and after like 2 or 3 years, the burger was like pristine. The webcam, focused closely on the burger, and it never deteriorated. Because it was coated in plastic. French fries are coated in plastic. Now, don't get me wrong. They're tasty once in a while. In fact, maybe tonight after the show we'll get a little late night snack. But, I guess I got off topic. Back to food again. I better take a break and maybe grab a snack and be right back in a minute and a half.
She says hello. In the sky, a graceful show. Many fall onto their knees. Blue light dancing to be seen. Follow you.
She will follow you.
She will follow you.
You're listening to The Late Night Hour with Alex Abrams.
She will follow you. She is Google, Twitter, Facebook, all the technology companies, because technology is what the elite want to use to control and take over. This was documented pretty well in 1940s, early 40s, with the theory of technocracy. If you had the chance to read Patrick Wood, and these subjects that I cover here in the late night hour, I'm giving you clues. You can go and search for this stuff. And basically, the elite funded different theories. They funded the Communist Manifesto, that it failed. So then they came back. In the 1940s, they funded technocracy. You can look that up. And then shortly after funding technocracy, they established can anybody help me out here? Maybe, but anyway, it's called the Trilateral Commission. Trilateral Commission. And that is Japan, USA, and Europe, I believe, if I remember. And so the Trilateral Commission, they're going to create commerce between these nations. No. Communists and the Communist Manifesto failed. They rewrote it in the basement of Columbia University. Why do I tell you this? Because guess what? they were working on in the same exact basement at the same time. They were working on, well, a different group was working on artificial intelligence. They were working on Watson, and that company is IBM. Have you seen all the commercials lately about Watson's going to do this for you and that for you, and it's going to help with global warming and growing the food crops, and it's it's like the Bible for the elite. Artificial intelligence, run by them, of course, controlled by them, programmed by them, so they can control everybody. Watson. So, you have this tie between technocracy, which is a theory, it's a book, has no basis of fact, but it basically says if we implement communism using technology, we can take over the world. And then they implemented the Trilateral Commission. They then took over the presidency with Jimmy Carter, who will go down in history as the biggest traitor to America, because a couple things that Carter did is number one, I think he appointed 237 Trilateral Commission members. You'd have to check with Patrick Wood on that. Patrick Wood, he tracks and follows this stuff. So, Carter came in and then suddenly appoints over 200 Trilateral Commission members into the government. And to make sure that regardless which president is elected, now they all are socialists, but regardless which president is elected, there is the SES. Carter established the SES. You may have heard recently in the news, Senior Executive Service. Mueller could be a Senior Executive Service member. And these SES agents, they were planted in all of the different agencies at the very top. They had no qualifications. They were purely, part of the corruption to take over all of the federal agencies. And so I've been told, now I don't know because it's just a theory, that even the president cannot fire an SES member. And who are these SES members? They won't tell us. So, Carter is the biggest traitor in history. Besides appointing all the Trilateral Commissions, members, they established the SES. So you can look this all up. You say, hey, Alex, thanks for helping me out. Yeah, that's what we do here on the Late Night Hour. We get right down to the bottom of it, until they pull a plug on the show. But don't worry. We have precautions. This show, once I start broadcasting, 7 days a week around 10 o'clock, we will be here to help you, especially if you're a younger person and this is like too much. It's too much. All you want to do is eat chicken and KFC and not worry about the occult logos in the corporations, a whole other subject for another late night hour. But anyway, let's get back. SES, Carter, technocracy, replaced Communist Manifesto, which failed to take over. So technocracy, Watson, artificial intelligence, and that's gets back to China. Carter, mid-70s, they send Brzezinski and a bunch of other creeps over to China. They take over China, and they suddenly, all the U.S. corporations starts investing in China. And China is their test technocracy. It's all run by technocrats, scientists. They're all, like every leader in China's got like a PhD, 1, 2, 3, all these PhDs, like it matters, but they got these PhDs, so, we should listen to them because they create all these eugenics, population control, organ harvesting algorithms. They got the mobile execution vans. Anyway, let's step back. Why do you think Google and Facebook are over in China? It all connects up. They're working on the next internet. Internet was created by DARPA. DARPA is the military. It was designed to give you free internet to go into your home, and to extract all of the information. It's all about getting in your home, in your car, in your iPhone. They want entry. They want to see what you're up to so that you cannot, organize. You can't work with other people. You know, the other part is to try to divide and conquer with all this racism and all this good stuff, because that's what the TV shows do. They're the ones that use, black, white, different races, whatever it is. They're the ones promoting the division. It's the TV shows and the films and all this stuff. It's riddled with not only racism and division. It's loaded with violence and weapons and all this stuff. So, anyway, why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you so you just relax, kick back. And I hope you tune in, become a regular listener to the Late Night Hour. And as we start growing our show, now remember, we were last on like 2 or 3 years ago. And then I just, got burned out. And now I'm back, fresh again, ready to go, ready to rock and roll, as they say. And so we will be here. And, when we get moving, we'll have callers and guests, and we'll have more interaction. But I don't mind because, I just like to rant away about stuff. And that's kind of what I do best. And, this whole thing about Trump, I guess we should talk about that. Trump and Mueller and Manafort and who's the other guy? Cohen. I mean, yeah, what I say to that is it takes a rat to catch a rat. So, I mean, if we need a rat in government to get the other rats, I mean, nobody cares. It only really is a matter of evil group A against evil group B. They both kind of report to the same masters at the top. I mean, you've got, again, light socialism, hard socialism. You get your pick. And they both report to the same people. We hear about George Soros and how Soros funds the Open Society, and he funds Black Lives Matter, and he funds all this stuff. Well, guess what? Soros made a $100 million loan to Trump Incorporated when Trump was filing for bankruptcy. So you see, Soros funds both sides. And they're not going to tell you this. And if they don't, you should turn those shows off because they're propaganda, okay? Take what I tell you, go Google it. You'll find out that Soros' company made a loan to Trump Incorporated. Nobody will tell you that hardly, but it's pretty much well out there. And, Trump's hotels and casinos, and they were all crumbling and collapsing, and gambling is, Vegas is on its way down because it got corporatized. You can't win anything. And so, anyway, they're all friends. So don't fall for the bad acting job. If you're going to be an actor, if you're really good, you go to Hollywood. If you're really bad, you go to politics. I mean, some of these politicians are pretty pathetic. They're bad acting. I don't think they can get a job as like even doing a commercial, So that's what we're faced with. And, they go in and they become worth $10, $20, $30 million, but their salary is like, I don't know, $60,000, $120,000 maybe. They suddenly make $20, $30,000. It's called insider trading and corruption and all that good stuff. So I would not look for any of these politicians to really help you out. The best thing for you to do is just start to understand how the system works, and then you make your plans and your preparation accordingly. And you do the best you can, and you don't get stressed out about it. Like, look at me. I drink some tea. I have a beverage, different beverages. And, I just get on here and I just go. I just rant away. I'll do a call out to Hadash 1965 in the chat room. Don't worry, we're just getting started. My friends don't know I'm back yet, so they'll be in here. We'll get our chat room going, but I'll give you a nice hello. Thanks for listening tonight to the late night hour. We're doing a lot of sound tests and working out a few bugs, but we'll get her going. And I will be here 7 days a week because there's plenty to complain about. I mean, I don't see there being a shortage of issues. There is just all kinds of garbage going on here. It's just really disgusting sometimes, some of this news they have. Today they had the M44 cyanide traps that the feds made, and it kills the coyotes. Well, unfortunately, a young child hit the trap. And the child's dog was killed, and then the cyanide got the child, and he's having some long-term issues, and the feds won't pay him any money. And, that's unreal because the Fed money's our money. It's all our tax money. What do they care? And as I pointed out earlier in the show, they can give the young man $5,000. It's really just 14.7 cents because that's what it costs to print the bill. So, it's funny money. It really is. It's funny money. So you ask, well, why does our government keep running up all this debt? Because they just print it. It's just printed paper. And they're so cheap. I mean, they want to get rid of the 14.7 cents. That's what this digital currency is all about. Why don't we just go to the computer and create $5,000, the number on the screen, and we don't have to pay 14.7 cents to print the bill? That's what digital currency is about. It's about getting rid of the cash system. And they're working hard on that. They don't want you to use checks. They don't want you to use cash. This is all part of the theory of technocracy, going to a credit system. You get 500 credits, 500 carbon credits for the month. And if you run out of credits, you're not going to be able to commute to work, or you're not going to be able to use the bathroom. So you're going to have to hold it for another week or something. So, we're moving to this credit system. You got Stockton, California. They're trying to implement the universal basic income, the credit system. Okay, don't fall for it. Once they get everybody into this credit system and you get your monthly credits, you don't have to work. You can be lazy, sit around. You'll get your monthly credits. And, at first you might get 5,000 credits. Then pretty soon you get 500. Then you're down to 50. They have total, complete control over you. Why do you think they want to put everybody on the socialist, collectivist credit system? It's all about control. Control over you, your family, and if they get into the organ harvesting like China, then, there may be an angle there to it. Because you got to look at the cash crops, right? You got oil, you got drugs, you got pharmaceuticals, you got arms. I mean, these are where the elite make the big money. And now, organ harvesting is getting up there. Look at abortion. I mean, let's just look at abortion. I know you probably don't want to talk abortion, but just look at it. You really don't know where the parts go. You really don't know. Okay? And I always say that an adult needs to get their tooth extracted. The state won't pay for that, but they would love paying for abortions. And I would have to think it's because of return on investment. Now, it's not direct. So, the money goes from the feds to like Planned Parenthood and whatever, and the abortions keep going. Nobody asks questions where the parts go. And everybody's happy. And there's a cash system here, an underground cash system going. Unfortunately, I mean, it does target minorities. The most abortions, Africa, Asia, Latin America, okay? And the United States, we have way too many abortions, okay? So we've got to cut that down, regardless where you stand. For example, let me give you one stat. Abortions, 40%. 40% return customers of the service. So that's just unbelievable. I mean, again, we might pay for one abortion, but now you've got somebody having, 4, 5. I don't know. I think it's an abuse of the system, but it's surprising because, again, they won't pay for anything. You try to get on Medicaid or state health or whatever. They don't want to pay for anything. Even unemployment is pretty much peanuts. But man, they sure want to pay for abortion, And so I'm not buying it. So now you got me ranting away on abortion. I forgot where we were. Oh, we were talking about the cyanide spray trap that the feds put up. Injured that little boy. So I hope that gets solved. So, going back to Trump and Mueller, I don't even know if Trump can fire Mueller because Mueller might be SES. I talked about earlier in the show. You need to understand what SES is, and you need to start researching that one a little. SES. And Senior Executive Service. And then, you've got this whole Pizzagate and the cult and all this human trafficking. That's just, again, another cash crop, right? Cash crop. You can order the child, depending on your pizza flavor. And, I guess in Portland, Oregon now there's Voodoo Donuts. Voodoo Donuts, the next Pizzagate. That's what we're hearing. That's the theory. Alex, is this factual? I don't know. That's what we do here on the Late Night Hour. I just tell you about the theories. You go out and do some research, and you can come back and argue with me. You can join us in our chat room anytime. This is a live show. You can call us if you dare. Call-in number is 515-602-9663. We'd love to hear from you, but maybe not if you don't provide good information or, something entertaining, a good story or comedy or something, I'll probably disconnect you anyway. So it doesn't do any good to call in here because, I have like really high standards and I can see, the switchboard's buzzing. We got callers holding. And sometimes I don't even pick up the phone. I just want to rant away anyway. And, I did talk about China, and we can do a whole late night hour on China, how they're taking over, how they might be, according to some theories, getting their military personnel into this country under the disguise, looking like different types of employees for different types of companies. There's a good amount in California. So you can research that, Chinese infiltration. But again, the other theory is we own China, and that China is our test bed for lots of pretty disgusting technology that we test out in China, then we import it into the United States to turn it against American citizens. That's what Google and Facebook do. They create terrible, terrible software. And they don't do it all here. They do it in other countries. And they bring it in here. If it works for the Chinese, it'll work great for the Americans. Test it out. Spying on you. Collecting your social profile. I think that was in the news just yesterday. This secret Facebook rating system that assigns you a number based on your trust level. Wow. I don't think Facebook is the one to assign a level. They're like the most trustworthy company there is. It's just unbelievable that they think they can assign you a trust number. It's really just a disguised name for social scoring. Social scoring. that, if you don't have the right social score, you don't say the right things, you don't post the right things, you're going to have difficulty getting a job, getting housing, getting an education. That's where this is heading because the technocracy is spreading. That's the design. Take over the world with technology. And pretty soon you'll have the artificial intelligence Watson deciding if you're good or bad, naughty or nice. You get a Christmas gift or nothing. You get coal in your stocking, which means you can go to one of the corporate prisons, which was also in the news. The prisoners are uprising, protesting. They're protesting privately for-profit, corporate-owned prisons. So the states, again, are so cheap, they outsource the stuff to corporations. So the politician says, XYZ company, you take over and run this prison, and you can make a reasonable profit, and then just make sure you donate to me on the back end or hire all my relatives or whatever the deal is for the politician. And so they've outsourced, which really a prison I would think should be public employees, publicly run with accountability to elected officials. So this corporate outsourcing, this is a big issue. You have it going on in prisons, in the military, private contractors, Blackwater, and a whole bunch of others, right? They're outsourced military. And so, they kill people for a paycheck. They don't really care about the politics nor the accountability or oversight of Congress. They just want to collect a check. They're like the bounty hunters. So, I guess I'm sorry to share all this information with you, but that's what we do on the late night hour. It's like this big spider web. You got to get out there and you go on this one direction and it'll all lead you to these other angles. Over in Venezuela, I guess they've got all this inflation going on and there's like this stack of money. I don't know. It's like, 3 or 4 feet of money stacked up to buy one chicken. Well, why is that? Because the bills only cost 14.7 cents to print. So you got to have a lot of them to buy the chicken. And that's what's going on. And a big part of the problems in this world have to do with this printing of money, and the elite are the ones that get to print the money. And then they take back what you pay them and the interest, and they buy hard land, gold, hard assets. So that's kind of the game, And you might hear people say it's a debt system. Yeah, it's a debt. They used 14.7 cents and they put 5,000 worth of debt on you or somebody else. You might have taken the 5,000 and used it for other things. They got $5,000 worth of labor hours for 14.7 cents. That's called slavery. Here in the late night hour, I'm going to bring that up pretty often because, you really need to understand at the very basic level what's really going on, how they're really hiding in this, like this. And people say it's the Matrix, and you got to wake up from the Matrix. And, you also just got to understand there's real money and there's fake money, just like there's real news and there's fake news. Fake news, to the elite is just somebody's opinion. I mean, commentary. They want to call that fake now. And that's why I keep saying here in the late night hour, this is theories. I present theories. It's up to you to research them, make your mind up, find out. I just give you little hints that you can go and dig. And, I got a kick to this week because I don't even know his name, XI, China, the guy that says, we don't need elections. I'm just emperor for life. Emperor for life. We'll see. let me give you some hope here. The corruption, the theft, evil, these are unsustainable. They are unsustainable, and sooner or later, these dictators, these tyrants, they're going to fall. Hillary Clinton is on her last leg, literally. And, I don't like the Republicans either. So, there's a lot of them I'd like to see on their last leg. But, Hillary Clinton's on her last leg. I guarantee that. Regardless, it's all, whether it's disease or, the universe, the universal God, whatever, whoever's out there, they have a way of balancing the scales, of making people pay in the end. And these people will see what's coming to them. And it's really, it doesn't have to be us that inflicts the punishment. And we can just get back and relax, keep well educated, understand kind of what's really going on. And, you'll survive. You will ride this through if you keep a good pulse on what's really happening out there. Because they could get in a panic. They could sacrifice a city. Let's say Chicago had the news here, 58 murders in one day or something. They might sacrifice Chicago. Maybe a little terrorist attack, a little whatever happens. And, it's possible. So you got to stay on top of this stuff. Something happening, you may have to move or hit the road, because if it's too late, the road's packed. You're not getting out. There's no escape. So whether it's the late night hour here, that's a good place. I mean, I monitor a lot of news sources, many underground sources. And if I catch wind of something going down, I'm certainly going to pass it on to you, give you a little jump, get your family out of Dodge before the roads are packed, and you're not going to be going anywhere. So along that lines, prepping. Yeah. I'd say there are some things you need to keep on hand, and I probably will get a list and share that sometime. But, you can research it, and there's some things, maybe a box or two, keep those things on hand, and if you need them, you'll have them. And that, I do think, is pretty practical. I'm not a fan of storing, let's say you store, 700 cases of freeze-dried food. Well, you're not mobile. And all that's going to happen is people will attack your home, take all your stored goods. In fact, Obama passed the executive order. They can take your food if they need to for national emergency. Like, everything falls under that, from probably a light drizzle to a thunderstorm, So, you're not going to really make out, I don't think, stockpiling a bunch of food that you can't carry. It's too heavy. So again, but there are some things that are light that, you might want to put a few boxes away and have them with you. We will somehow get a list of those items up. But I'm getting back, because you're saying, oh, Alex, you're paranoid. You think something's going down? No, I do not. But, many of the established religions, they encouraged their flock to keep like 3, 4, 5 years of food in their basement. So I guess this is a secret I shouldn't tell everybody, but yes, certain religions, you've got to stockpile stuff because the end is near and all that good stuff. But, I'm not a fan of big stockpiles, but stay practical. There are some specific items that would help you in case of emergency. So that's about the extent of the prepping. And mostly you need to kick back, relax. They want to provoke violence. I mean, that's what this Black Lives Matter and the racial division, all this stuff, that's what that's all about, is provoking some type of violent revolution. give them an excuse to lock everybody up, So, no, you want to stay calm, take some precautions, keep on top of the information and knowledge, and just relax. Do the best you can within the system. And there are some things you can do to irritate them, and you'll come up with those creative ideas. You don't need me to help you there, but I should tell you the story. There was this man. He hated the bank. The bank did something to him, so he got himself one of those safety deposits, and he put a dead fish in that. And I don't know, 3 or 4 years later, the bank was like, "What's going on?" So I shouldn't tell you that. I guess that's classified as terrorism now, bank terror. Sorry about that. It was a theoretical. I mean, you don't want to do that. Save the fish, all that good stuff. You're listening to Alex Abrams. This show sometimes goes 2 hours, but it just depends how worked up I get. I'm kind of chill tonight, so somewhere between 1 and 2 hours I'll pull the plug. But I'll take a few minute break and grab a little beverage and be right back.
She walks into a winter day. She walks into a midnight haze. She will follow you. She will follow you. She will follow you. She will follow along you.
You're listening to The Late Night Hour with Alex Abrams.
So today in the news, Google says they're going to use artificial intelligence to identify the fake news. That's you and I. Anybody that disagrees, anybody that tries to explain that both parties are part of the socialist system, designed to move America into socialism as a step toward communism, because communism is the best opportunity the elite have to go into a dictatorship. So that's the plan. And if you expose that the Democrats and the Republicans are both socialisms on the socialism scale, which was published in a theory in 1964, roughly. So you're going to be called fake news. And I'm about as fake as they get, according to their scale. So, but we'll see. We'll see. It's been nice so far. Day one. Are they going to let me stay on the air? Are they going to let me put my videos on YouTube and Gab and all these others? I don't care, because I will find a way to get the recordings out there. You see, DARPA created the internet military to give you free internet. Put it in your home, extract everything you type, say, videotape you, listen to you. That's the internet. But unfortunately, they didn't realize that people would actually spread their own opinions. Use the internet for spreading ideas and new concepts. They don't like that. So, there's this drive to identify. Oh, that just gets me on a whole new topic of, like, when you sign up for email and then they want to text you, and then you say that's me and that's my ID and my text. It all ties. A lot of it ties to the smartphone, because you're basically microchipped. You just don't know it. You're just carrying the microchip in your pocket. And so that's why they authenticate back to your smartphone. They want to identify you. That's why it's almost impossible to establish a smartphone without a smartphone without a credit card. You can't even use like the store-bought, preload credit cards. No, 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 no. They want a real bank credit card to turn on your smartphone, because that is then authenticated back to your social security number. So you'll see a lot of these websites. Oh, I want to authenticate to your smartphone. Can I text you? And then you put in a little 4 or 5 digits. I got the text message. That's a government business. That's a front. That's really the government. So that's where you get Google, Twitter, Amazon, Microsoft. All of these companies are just fronts for the military-industrial complex. I don't like to use the word government because there's a lot of good people that work for the government. No. It's the military-industrial complex within the government. So that's the ones running the show, or at least to the extent of collecting all the data and surveillance and control and all this grid they use. So this gets back to what I talked about earlier in the show, that you need to realize the Communist Manifesto failed. Technocracy, the theory of technocracy, using technology to implement communism, 1948 roughly. Search for technocracy theory. All it says is we're going to use all this technology to take over the world. There you go. AI. Then 1948. It doesn't really take off. So around 1972, they find this theory, they dust it off, they create the Trilateral Commission. Now, you can go to the Amazon, let's use them as an example. You go to Amazon Board of Directors. One of the major board of directors is a Trilateral Commission member. Isn't that convenient? Coincidence. You go to Facebook. One of the board members is a Bilderberg. What? Bilderberg are the ones that funded the Trilateral Commission. So don't take all this word from me. Just research it. Probably the best source, again, is a guy named Patrick Wood. He's got all of the links and the data and how the Bilderbergs set up the Trilateral Commission and how the Trilateral Commission took the theory of technocracy, which is just the Communist Manifesto with technology, to make their latest attempt to conquer the world. Establish their test bed in China, and they get away with all the stuff they want to do because the Chinese leadership is, evil, corrupt, whatever you want to call it, and they perfect all of their evil technologies, and then they bring them back to the United States and Canada and UK and everywhere else in the world. So China is the test bed for all this technocracy, technology, evil. What is that? Dr. Evil? Take over the world and all that good stuff. So are you going to stop them? No. But on the other hand, maybe you'll learn enough, and maybe you'll spread that information, and maybe you'll come up with the pamphlet that awakens up everybody, to tell them what's going on and mobilize. And yes, if we can get everybody on board too fast, they can't control it. It just takes one idea, and that's what these, evil tyrants, they're up all night worrying about, like somebody's going to come up with an idea and it's going to spread like wildfire. It's going to be viral. That's going to sink all their plans or set their plans back another 100 years or whatever that is. that's kind of the beauty of it, is that all of these evil people that were in the Bilderbergs and Trilateral Commission and all these other organizations, they're dying out and their new world order isn't here. So we can beat it back another 500 years. So, it's a stupid idea. We want different countries so that we can enjoy the different cultures. If I want Italian, I go to Italy. If I want Mexican and authentic Mexican, I go to Mexico. I go to Cancun. I enjoy the different cultures. I don't want this universal system and everybody's the same. And it's a dumb idea. It's never going to go. And all they could ever get would be some type of civil conflict between people that want this dumb system and people that want their own culture and society and language and everything like that. So, no sense to lose any sleep over it. Just stay on top of things. I hope you decide to join us each night. We will see people starting to call in and yell at me and do all the things they do, and that's all part of the fun. So that's why I do this show. I want to hear from you. You can talk in the chat room. They changed the rules. You can talk in the chat room, or you can call in. The call-in numbers 515-602-9663. Let's see. What else do we have in the news that's of noteworthy subjects? Saudi Arabia executing activists. That's pretty nasty. I don't know. I think they were females, and they did something very minor, non-violent. They, not sure what they did, but execution's a little harsh, and there's a lot of outrage on this sentence, and they might, hopefully they'll be able to beat this one back. They want to behead the activists. These are extreme leaders. They're crazy, and we'll have to spend a whole late night hour on OPEC and Saudi Arabia and all the deals cut, because then you won't lose any sleep over this. So again, the United States is firmly in control of Saudi Arabia. This nonsense of the kings, and they run everything, and it's all a fairy tale. The United States controls the oil, and in exchange, we provide military support that keeps the Saudi royal family in power. It's our military. It's their oil money. And so that, in a nutshell, is the deal. So don't oh, God, I hate OPEC because it's $6 at the pump. Well, that's us. They have very little control over their oil. It was taken over, 1980s, roughly. So, again, don't buy into this nonsense of the evil Saudi Arabia. Well, yes, they behead and they do a lot of nasty stuff, but we're keeping them in power. It's our military. Sometimes Blackwater, not. When I say military, it's not the military people that actually have principles and ideals. This is a military perversion. These are people that do things for a dollar. They're not like American patriot military that's doing all this nasty stuff. This is a dark faction within the military that's running this stuff. So, and if the military guys won't do it, they'll outsource it to these Blackwater, get a clue, Blackwater, dark, evil, killers, mercenaries. So, when Alex talks about the military, all of our military great, a lot of them are true patriots, supporters of America. They don't buy into this baloney. It's just a small group within the military. And let's see if there's anything else going on that's really important. I guess I'm really happy to say that right now, You know, if you look at all of the threats to America, it's relatively calm. There's not been a lot of chatter. That doesn't mean something could pop up over here, something small scale over there. But as far as any major threat, I don't really see any linkage yet. You know, if we start seeing a lot of chatter, there's probably like 100 websites that we monitor here on the late night hour. And if we start seeing a lot of chatter pop up along a specific topic, we're going to be sure to share that with you. And right now it's been relatively quiet, so it just, allows me to mellow out and enjoy my late nights, And there's a lot of frustration out there. There's certainly a lot of issues we need to work on, but that's the challenge. You need to become active, engaged, find information, compare information, do your own research, and work with others. And we do hope that you join and follow our show and become a regular listener. And I'll be back tomorrow night with another late night hour. I don't know if I'll do fast food, but we'll find something good, and we will be back. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to talking to you tomorrow night.
You're listening to the Late Night Hour